Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, May 6th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Real quick, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, we're looking at GPUS. Absolutely monster move today, and now a very nice little pattern here has taken place. So let's get this pattern drawn. There we go. So first part of the pattern is just this upper portion where the price, as you can see, struggled several times to get right up around this general area. So you're going to want to keep an eye on that as a top part of the pattern. And then we have this bottom part down here as a bit of a consolidation area. Let me change that to green for represent support. And then to make the pattern easier to see, let's keep it all one color here. So we have our area of resistance. We have our area of support. We have the big upwards move right here. And then if you golfers out there, if I put the golf down here, make it a little bit more visual, this would be a bull pennant pattern. Now, just because something's in a bullish pattern does not mean for sure guaranteed the price is going to go upwards. But I don't think anybody would be shocked if this thing chopped around here, then eventually got up here, broke, and then with that break, got more upside buying pressure. Again, not guaranteed to happen, but certainly a more than valid question to throw out there on the possibility if the price can return back up to that area and then get the push up through it. So if you like this price range, you like bull pennant patterns and stocks that can move very quickly, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one here, NITO, and same general idea of what I just talked about in terms of the pattern. So not exactly, but like I said, there has been this pullback that's occurred. And at the same time, the pullback has occurred. There is, get this, an uptrending area. So just because I can't help myself, let's make it proportional. There we go. Let me get this changed to green. And then I'm going to go through this quicker because you just heard me talk about it, so I want to respect your time as much as possible. So we have our area of resistance. We have our area of support. We have the nice upwards move right here. We have the golf hole down here, so we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. I'd say the biggest difference here is this one happens to be on a penny stock. So if you prefer to stay down in the world of penny stocks, but you like bull pennant patterns, here you go. Next one, NCNA, and very, very crazy day on this one. Nice movement here as it gapped up, pulled back, and then you gotta love on the pullback, it started to go sideways. Look right where it went sideways at that pink line there. The very well known, the very famous 200 period moving average. And then this afternoon, the volume came pouring back in, and the rest is history. Very, very impressive move in the upwards direction. So moving forward, what I would consider the ideal level of support, when you say, hey Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute strongest going forward? That would be if the price can now stay up there above 88 cents. With that being said, if the price falls below there, that doesn't mean the entire chart's destroyed or ruined or anything like that. But yeah, if the price could manage to stay above there, that would be a great sign of power. But taking a step back and looking at everything from the bigger picture point of view, just watch that purple line there, the 50 period simple moving average. Keyword being moving, because I understand the price is way up here. This line's way down here. But as time goes by, that line's going to move itself higher and higher. So in other words, as long as the price stays above that line, as the line itself moves higher and higher, then the overall trend is still plenty in the bull's favor, because in order to stay above that purple line, the price by definition is going to need to build higher bases, which is what an uptrend is all about. So keep an eye on that from the overarching standpoint. Again, staying above 88 cents would be the best case scenario, but from an overarching standpoint, you just want to see it stay above that area right there. And then I'm going to go head to the daily time frame here. Now each one of these represents an entire day, because now we can see, looking back through the history of things, that the next key battleground to watch very closely is going to be right up here at about $1.36. If you go back through the history of things, you can see this was an area of resistance right there, and then even right here. So it's basically in a little bit of a miniature blue sky breakout territory. So that doesn't mean that it's guaranteed to go up to $1.36, but would anybody be shocked by that? I don't think so. But at the end of the day, I mean, look at the volume today compared to all these other days. Monster movement. We'll see if the momentum carries into Tuesday. Next one here, TSLL. Very rough start on the day with the gap down. Even broke through the purple line right there, the 50 period moving average, which you would ideally want to see act as support, and that's going to play a role here in just a moment. But broke down below there, came down, and then to be fair, has bounced back upwards. But this is where now all eyes right back on that purple line, as there is a basic rule in charting which states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, or excuse me, below, I got it all backwards. When there's ever levels of support So this was the level of support that are broken and closed below, which it did do here. They tend to act as resistance. And you can see on the bounce back upwards, surprise, surprise, look right what is acting as resistance. Former area of support, now behaving as resistance. So that's not to say that this $10 and let's just call it 30-cent mark can't be broken. I'm just saying it makes sense why on this very, very impressive bounce right there at 10.27 is why the price is struggling where it is. So definitely public enemy number one in the very near term on TSLL into Tuesday is going to be that purple line there, 50-period moving average. As far as overarching levels of support, I would keep a close eye on this overarching trend line right there, and as long as the price can stay above there, then that means that at least the price is still building in higher bases. But yes, the closer it can stay to that purple line, the better. But even if, like I said, if it were to come down here and then bounce, well, at least you'd still have a low there, a low there, a low down there, and if you envision those as stair steps, the stair steps would still be progressing in the upwards direction. But yeah, all about that purple line on Tuesday, and we'll see if the price can push up through it. Next one, NVDA. This will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the video from Friday, but I put that trend line into play right there, and wouldn't you know it, as I speak right now, the price is basically knocking on the door. So that will be the big question mark here headed into Tuesday. Is the price going to be able to break up through that level? And if it can, then you just get to ask yourself the next very exciting question. Is that going to be the start of something bigger? Because think about that question. It makes no sense to ask, is this the start of something bigger if nothing even happens? But if the price can get the break to that level, well then yeah, that's a significant situation. The price has broken a key resistance trend line, so then it makes perfect sense to then question, is this the start of something bigger? So in my opinion, at least, it's really as straightforward as that for NVIDIA headed into Tuesday. It's knocking on the door of this resistance trend line. Can it break? And then if so, is that the sign of something even bigger to come? Grab your popcorn and we'll see how this week continues to play out. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering later on in the week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down below in the description area you can use to sign up. Or if you're watching right at my website, there's an area on the webpage that you can use to sign up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Next one here, PLTR. Talked about this one on Friday. Talked about the rising wedge and how that was a bearish pattern and to look for a pullback. And the power of charts, price this morning pulled back and definitely did a pullback, broke through that area. So for any of you day trader scalpers out there, very nice move. But also from the overarching standpoint, very quick recovery for it to come back upwards. So I'm going to get rid of that. But what I am also going to do, let me just get rid of that line for now, is I want to extend this line up because as far as I can tell, this line is still completely in play. And now we actually have an even bigger rising wedge pattern, which can be illustrated with that. Now, as I mentioned on Friday, and as I'll mention again, just because there's a bearish pattern does not mean the price is going to go down. Just like as I mentioned earlier, just because there's a bullish pattern doesn't mean the price is going to go up. And also, even if the price does go down, a rising wedge pattern does not mean that if it breaks through here, it's totally crashing. Nobody's calling for a crash. A rising wedge does not suggest a crash or a full-blown reversal or anything like that. It is just suggesting that there seems to be a need for a pullback. So yes, if I were pushed into a corner, I would be thinking PLTR has more chances than not of getting some sort of pullback if it can break down through this support trend line here. But if it can stay above there, well, then you got to continue to give the bulls credit, but it is nearing that area. So we'll see if the price can indeed push down through there or not. And even if it does, and even if it were to come down, and let's just say right there, for example, say, well, would you still have? Well, you'd have a set of lows there, lows down here. And if you envision each one of those as stair steps, and again, from the big picture point of view, you'd still very clearly have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. So even if this were to break down and pull back a bit, from the general overarching standpoint, everything would still be perfectly fine. Next one here, NVNI. This will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the video Friday, but putting that trend line right there, you can see this morning got the break up through there and then got some good continuation. So we're going to go back to what I've been talking about on a couple of these other ones. And this should sound familiar. Let me squeeze it down so you can see it a little bit more. But yeah, we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. So let's just get this area of resistance mapped out. And then let's get the area of support mapped out right here. Let me just bring it here and make it a little bit more proportional. There we go. And yes, I'm going through this quicker because you've already heard me talk about it. So I want to just make this as time efficient as possible. But let's just make sure everybody sees it. Resistance, support. Nice move right here. Golf hole down here. So we have ourselves another penny stock that is in one of these bull pennant patterns. So if you are a penny stock trader, then hey, you definitely have a couple of choices headed into Tuesday. Next one here, WOLF. And big mover today in the downwards direction. But this is where things are a little tricky to talk about Because if you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there and you're planning to buy and sell within 10 minutes, well then yeah, from that standpoint, the chart looks terrible. But if you do care about the bigger picture standpoint, everything is still perfectly fine for a couple of reasons. One, the price still has plenty of opportunity to build a higher base. I mean, if it levels out there and then you look at that low and then that low, then as I mentioned already in a previous one, you picture those as stair steps. Stair steps still plenty in the upwards direction. But even if you don't want to consider that, just looking at the purple line right there, price still nicely up above there. Or if you want to look at it from another angle, if we put a trend line in right there, price is still above the trend line. So that's what I mean. There's many different vantage points that you can look at it, that from the big picture standpoint, everything is still perfectly fine. Again, to reiterate, I'm well aware, a day trader, scalper, that bar right there, you don't care about any of these other things I've been talking about, but that's why I'm trying to create a point of distinction between more of a day trader, scalper, and somebody that cares about the bigger picture standpoint. So overarching wise, the chart's hanging in there. Sure, the pullback was annoying, but like I said, it is holding strong. And then just from a resistance standpoint, very straightforward now that this area is being very stubborn right up around 475. Didn't hit it exactly right there, but did right there, and then slightly above it there, slightly above it right there. So if there is any sort of, curl back upwards, then yeah, 475 is going to be the key battleground. But overarching wise, the price still has plenty of supports that it can maintain above and keep the overall trend in the bullish direction. Next one here, KIDZ. I'm going through this very quickly because I wanted to just talk about these things back to back, but it's all about perspective. Day traders, flippers, scalpers, you're not thinking this looks very good. If you do care about the bigger picture point of view, then even with the pullback here that has occurred from these highs down to here, and then if I bring over this area right here as an area of support, and then if I turn this into a multi-day pattern, so resistance, support, big move up right there, then maybe you see where I'm headed. We are now looking at a multi-day bull pennant pattern. But once again, if you don't care about multi-day stuff, if you're just some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought right there, then yeah, you don't care about this pattern because it has pulled back quite a bit from where you were at. But assuming you do care about the bigger picture, you care about multiple days and such, then yes, overall, even with the pullback, you still just have a multi-day, nice-looking bull pennant pattern. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and a rough day here. Especially started off, and this will mean more to those that watched the previous video, but I had that trend line into play there. And you can see this morning price came down. Not only did it break the purple line, but it also did break the trend line right there, and that really opened up the gates of downwards momentum. Price has come back up, but now from a resistance standpoint in the very near term, you're going to want to watch that purple line there, 50-period moving average, currently valued right around 280, 280 as that main battleground to watch resistance-wise. And, right now it's seemingly rolling back over, but in a very miniature sense, and this I'm going to draw this very crudely, there is a nice little miniature bull pennant here, but it is still occurring within an overall kind of downwards pressure movement. So I don't think anybody would be shocked if this bull pennant ultimately fell to the downside. Doesn't mean it'll happen, but I just want to, all I'm saying is, yes, I see what you're seeing. If you were to say, oh, there's a bull pennant, true, but you got to keep in mind other factors of that. So I'm going to get rid of that. But at the end of the day, let's zoom out here. Nothing has really happened. What do I mean by that? Well, from the bigger picture standpoint, the price is still just inside of the channel. Bouncing back and forth, bouncing back and forth. So yeah, today, quote unquote, individually, rough day with the price breaking down, all that up here. But then as I, if I did my job right and as we expand it out, hopefully you now see, oh, okay. From the multi-day standpoint, from the big picture standpoint, yes, all Tesla is continuing to do is chop back and forth within the pattern. So from the overarching standpoint, there's not really any significant news unless the price can either push down through here or if the price can push up through here. But from just an overarching standpoint, as of now, the price just continues to chop back and forth between this sideways channel. So that wraps up the top 10 stocks. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about the tool, then definitely go get signed up for the free class later this week. It'll be Thursday, May 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. And as far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please hit that like button and consider hitting the subscribe button so you know that when new content is released. And also, I am live streaming, so if you want to come hang out, see me trade live, then I do live stream every day starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So be sure you check out the channel for that also. So thanks for watching. Make sure you go get signed up for that free class, and take care, and I'll see you back tomorrow.